All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Gooner Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to address a few things that I want to talk about, and I figure the best way of doing that is by having the two people closest to me in this Twitter world to join me and address some of those issues. So let's say hello to them. So Ola and Lee, say hello to the people.
Good evening.
Good evening, people. Good evening. Hope everybody's had a nice weekend. I certainly have. But let's get the show on the road.
Let's do this. Let's do this. So speaking of weekends, Ola, how was your weekend?
My weekend's been basic. No football. So I've been on the road, working as usual, always on the road. And when I'm on the road like that, it's almost like my safe place because it keeps me away from a lot of bullshit. So I like it like that. You know, it's my place.
I could have done with some of that, but we'll come to that.
It's my place of peace. So and also the place where I earn my skrilla, where I earn my money. So yeah, it's been one of those weekends. I'm happy with it. How about you guys?
How about yourself, Lee? How was your weekend?
Yeah, it's been chilled, man. No football. It's it's nice that Arsenal can't ruin a weekend. So, so yeah, they sort of ruined my Thursday, but by yesterday I'd got over it, and yeah, today's been chilled, man. I ain't done nothing today. All I've done is eat. Yeah, eat and eat and eat, and like you look at the size of me, you think, man, how are you packing so much food? But yeah, I've eaten and just chilled all day, and now I'm drinking my tea. You know how us English guys do with our tea. But yeah, other than that, it's been pretty chilled, mate. How about you?
How about me? Yeah, I've had an interesting weekend. You know, Friday night was pretty chilled out. Did a couple of things here and there, but it was largely chilled out. Yesterday, woke up, did a couple of things. Thought I would check out a certain debate that took place on Arsenal Fan TV. That featured you, man.
It did feature me, man. That was a mad debate.
For those people who haven't seen it, Lee Gunner and somebody else I'm going to address had a debate about a certain Mesut Ozil. You know, Lee and Mesut Ozil, it's like hand in hand. And I actually thought, to be perfectly honest, even if you don't agree with Lee's point of view, there was one person that was getting worked up, and it wasn't Lee. There was one person that was presenting constructive arguments for how he was presenting things. It wasn't Lee. Sorry, it was Lee. And there was one person who looked kerfuffled and flustered, and that wasn't Lee. So I came out of that wanting to hate on Lee, to be honest, going into it. I was about to bash him, saying, bruh, you lost that argument. I wanted to be able to say it. And I ain't going to lie to him. I was proud of my boy. I'll be real. I was proud of my boy. So what would you do if you were proud of your boy? You would tell your boy that. So I put up a tweet tagging Lee in it. It also so happened I tagged the wrong AFTV. I tagged some American football fucking Twitter handle. Sorry, guys, if you're now watching this. But you got a lot of coverage, if that makes any difference. That tweet kind of went to various different places. And apparently, that tweet was also retweeted to the certain timeline of a well-known YouTuber, Mr. DT, who decided for the very first time ever to address poor little me.
Holy shit.
Because apparently I decided that it would be a good idea to support Lee Gunner. I didn't tag DT. The reason I didn't tag DT was because I didn't want him thinking I was winding him up. For me, it was more about supporting my boy. So I put up a GIF to say, finish him. And basically a Mortal Kombat GIF, right?
No, you didn't.
That gift. I'm very proud of that gift because people seem to enjoy it. It was a little bit of fun between myself, Lee, and the people who follow me. And then DT, because he was on one and apparently had a lot of people telling him that Lee whooped his ass in that debate, which he did, decided for the very first time he would address me and decided to, for some reason, focus on me and what I was doing and the fact I was supporting Lee because, I don't know, I was kissing his ass or something. And I just started laughing. I found it hilarious. And I thought to myself, you're not going to bully me and tell me what I can and can't tweet. It's not going to happen. So if you do happen to be watching, because mind you, I can imagine you get so many notifications, you probably won't even see this. But if you do happen to be watching, Liam, you can't bully me. I'm a grown-ass man. Please understand that. And just because you see me laughing, joking, don't ever take my kindness for weakness. If I want to support Lee, I will support Lee. If I want to laugh at the fact that he whooped your ass in a debate, I'm going to laugh and support Lee. It's an L. Everyone takes one every now and again. It ain't a big deal. But for you to decide to focus most of the evening on me, bruh, I was flattered, first of all. But second of all, you shouldn't have time for pauper on me. I'm a nobody. You're a superstar. You should be focused on bigger and better things. So
I don't know about superstar, but you're giving him too much credit.
Hey. But apparently he's a superstar. He's got loads of notifications, which is why apparently he's never seen my tweets before. But yesterday was the day he decided to address me. The guy who had never even so much liked a tweet from anybody else suddenly was a man of the people and was tweeting strangers' tweets all of yesterday evening just to prove that he won the debate. Apparently he was not flustered by it. Apparently, he was not rattled by it. All right, no problem, brother. But I ain't got no issue with you. I really don't. All I was doing was supporting Lee. And guess what? If you have another debate and Lee whoops your ass again, I will support him again. And I want that to be very clear. I'm not your enemy. But believe me, I'm not the guy that's going to be bullied by you. Please believe. All right, now that's out the way. Let's move on.
Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. You can breathe now, man. Jesus Christ. You can breathe, bro. Breathe.
It had to be said. Right, so let's talk about Ozil. But let's do it more constructive.
My specialist subject.
Because I know there's going to be people being like, oh, fucking hell. I don't want to see Lee go off again on this, right? Let's talk about between now and the end of the season and what you'd like to see. So, Ola, you mentioned the fact that you saw the debate that Lee and DT had, where, to be fair, even though I thought Lee still whooped his ass, DT did make a couple of decent points. And I do think that between now and the end of the season, we have to be able to at least manage that situation. How would you like to see us manage that situation going forward?
First of all, like I said, I got to shout you out, Lee, for the good work you done yesterday.
Nice one, man.
Brother was proud of you.
You're risking the raft.
No, listen.
The raft of DT.
Listen. I don't give a fuck. This is one of them things because I don't live on Twitter. I can live with that Twitter. I'm all about my Skrilla. I'm all about my fucking change. Yeah? DT don't pay my bills. You get me? So I couldn't give a rat's clap what anybody's trying to say out there. So I'll just say what I feel in it. I always say how I say. And I'm just propping my boy, you know what I mean? But I did say to you before we went on before we went on air, that on the closing statement, I didn't even know where to go because both of them made very, very valid points on the closing statement. So, for me, for somebody that would pay so much money for, and like you saying, what would I like to see going to the end of the season? Is earn your money and earn it consistently. Nobody, look, this is the point that I've been making. I've made this point so many times. Nobody's saying this guy can't ball. We know he's a baller. We know he's technically gifted. We know he can turn it on when he wants. We know all these things. The problem, the main problem, has been consistency. And if the consistency has been there the whole time, nobody will be talking about Ozil and how much he's earning. Nobody will give a fuck. Nobody. Literally no one. So not even the club, because they'll think you're delivering what we're paying you on. Boy, when you're done with that, can we give you an option to sign one more year? But instead of that, the club is trying to push him out. And that's saying something.
No, you're right. Because I must admit, I don't ever remember having conversations about how much Thierry Henry was earning.
Nobody would care. This is the thing. Nobody would care, literally. And look, David Silva, do you know what David Silva earns? Do you know why you don't know? Because you don't care. Because he plays, he brings it every week. You see what I'm trying to say? Nobody cares.
True.
If you're putting on the table, nobody really cares what Eriksen is
like. Do you know how much Aguero earns?
Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Because them man, they're doing their job on the pitch, week in, week out.
Yeah.
And that's this is the thing. So if you're doing your job, if you're on your job, listen, like I said, I go out and earn my money every day. And because I do my job well, I don't look on Twitter. I don't look on my phone. I concentrate on my job. You know what my manager does? My manager don't give a fuck what I do. Because I do my job properly.
Yeah, he knows he can depend on you. Yeah.
Exactly. I show up every day, Monday to Sunday. No days off. And I do my job. Yeah? And my boss don't give a fuck. And if I was to say, oh, I'm resigning tomorrow, they might then think, oh, maybe we should give this guy a pay rise because he's been doing such a lovely job for us. And that's how it should be in a working world. So this is what I want from the guy. Just do your job consistently. What we know you can do. What we paid you all that money to do. And once you start doing it, nobody will care what you're earning. The only thing everybody will be caring about is your productivity on the pitch. And that's it. I don't hate the guy. I love the guy. Look, when we signed him, I got his shirt. People go and check on my timeline. I'm right over there with fucking Ozil shirt on my fucking wrapped up on my head. You know what I mean? Look, this is the thing, yeah? This is the thing. This is one of the things that people have to look at, yeah? We support a football club. We don't support a player. We don't support a manager. We support a football club. And whatever the backing, whatever the decision of the football club, moving forward in trying to rectify the damage that's been done over the last 12 years. I wouldn't even say 10 years. I'll go as far as to say 12 because the man spent 22 here, yeah? And 10 of it was good, the first 10. So the last 12, because people keep giving this blight about the last 10 years was shit. No, the last 12 was shit. Let's fucking call the spade a fucking spade. You get me? The last 12 was crap. Yeah? So moving forward, it's going to take time to rectify it. And Ozil can mock him in rectifying the damage that's been left behind because he was part of the problem. It was part of the problem that was left behind. Yeah, it's a shame. It's only him that's going to be left behind in terms of a whole lot of the players that was there over the last 10 years. He's going to be probably the only one of note. And that's, again, because of his status in the team, in the squad. You know, and it's about time. All the manager wants from him is to roll his sleeves up. That's all the manager wants. Roll your sleeve up. Show me the attitude that you can get on your grizzly when the time calls for it. You know what I mean? You can get on your game, and that every Arsenal fan, that's what they want. Every single Arsenal fan, and they demand it not just from him, but from everybody on the fucking pitch. Everybody that puts a shirt on, and that's it. You can't ask for no more. You know, if a player is leaving you 100% on the pitch every time, it shows they leave a bit of themselves on the pitch, and you can't ask for no more than that as a fan. Win, lose or draw. If you see that they do that, you're a happy fan, regardless of what the result is. And that's what I want from the guy till the end of the at least till the end of the season.
All right. I thought I would make some excellent points actually. Lee, obviously everybody, people don't know how you feel about us. I don't know where they've been. You left the debate in a very interesting place though, because the one thing I was expecting Robbie to say that he never really came on to was that next factor. It's like, all right, well, regardless of whether Ozil's going to be sold or not, my man is still here now. What would you like to see happen now?
To be honest with you, I couldn't care less. Genuinely couldn't care less. If we pick an 11 that go onto the pitch and, like Ola said, leave everything out there and don't win, what more can you say?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I ain't going to go on a mad rant about him or anything like that. But at the end of the day, the fact that he's played a big part in 18 games this season and done next to fuck all in 17 of them, or 16 of them. He was good at Newcastle and he was good against Leicester. What about the other 16? Our biggest wins this season have been without him. Fulham, both times he never played. Tottenham, Chelsea, both times he never played. So, listen, the whole idea of us signing that guy was apparently to move us on to the next level and to be the difference in the big games. He ain't done that for 6 years, so I couldn't care less whether he plays again or not, mate. As long as the person who goes in steps up and gives his all. And if you look at what Emery's done this season, people are saying, oh, we're shit, we ain't improved, right? Let me say something now. I see something, I retweeted it today, yeah? Right? The 4 seasons previous to this season, at this stage of the season, after 26 games, the last 4 seasons, only once have we had more points than we've currently got now at the same stage. And that one season was the season Leicester won the league and we had 1 point more than we currently have now. Yeah? And everyone was going nuts about, oh, he was fantastic that season. Well, we're 1 point worse off without him this season. So, listen, that tells me that we've been bang average for 4 years and we've been getting progressively worse. I think that Emery's come in, he's stopped us getting worse because we've gone all the way down to 6th. And I'm not saying we'll finish higher than 6th, but I've seen improvement. Yes, we're conceding goals left, right and centre. And my point yesterday, which I made, was we're conceding goals left, right and centre, so let's put a player in who can't be asked to defend. Makes no sense, right? And people have come back at me and said, yeah, well, Guendouzi don't defend. Xhaka can't defend properly. Other players, Iwobi, Mkhitaryan can't. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they're doing something different in training. Mkhitaryan has done something different in training. And a point that was raised yesterday to me was, and a couple of people have said it today, Mkhitaryan's taking 200 grand a week out of this football club and he's worse than Ozil and his contribution's worse. Go and check their stats out, because I know people love an assist stat and a goal stat.
Yeah.
Go and check their stats out. They're there or thereabouts, mate. And he's on 150 bags a week less. So, to me, the reason he walks straight back into that team after 10 games out is because he's doing more in training.
Yeah.
So, if it is,
and I don't rate Mkhitaryan either.
No, I don't. I don't. But I'd still have him over Ozil.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And the thing as well, Chris, right, is I've said this so many times, right? The geezer's 31 in October. Are we going to liquidate when he leaves? When he finally runs out his contract, if he stayed for the next 2 seasons, people are going on like this is a prime Lionel Messi. Yeah? You know what I'm saying? Arsenal Football Club have lost Henry, Vieira, Pires, Jens Lehmann, Adams, Bold, Keown, Fabregas, Alexis Sanchez. I could carry on. Yeah? We're still standing because ultimately the club is bigger than any footballer or any paid employee. One other thing I want to address as well. When I done my video on Aaron Ramsey the other day, somebody put in the comments section on that video, I can't remember who the guy was. He goes, him and Ozil have been loyal servants of the club. Right? Hang on a sec. They're not fucking charity workers. Okay? If you're paid £1 for your services, you're not a loyal servant, you're a paid employee. Okay? Fact. Just because you've stayed at Arsenal, Aaron Ramsey stayed at Arsenal because he was in his comfort zone. Fact. Fact. Because any top manager would have come in 5 years ago and binned him. End of story. It's true. I'm just speaking as I see it, mate. Yeah, right. Aaron Ramsey. Yes, he's going to Juventus. Yes, great, fantastic. And people go, oh yeah, but he's going to a better club than us. Yeah, cool, fantastic. Man will be at Everton in 2 years. Mark my words. Right. I've said it since the day that deal was done. He will not cut it in Italy because he's not tactically astute. Yeah, he'll run forward as much as he wants. He can't go back the way.
And the only other thing I'll add to that is people don't get twisted. He's leaving to go Juventus because Arsenal don't want him.
Exactly.
He's not leaving because, he's had enough of England anymore. If Arsenal that Ozil wage that he was after, as I said from the very first day that I heard that story, that my man has been asking for dumb wages. I said it. I just checked the Eagle.
Chris, ultimately, all it comes down to, right? And people are saying, "Oh, let him go and sort his family out for the rest of their life." What you think if Aaron Ramsey retired from football today, he couldn't live for the rest of his life? Do you know what I'm saying? The man's on 80, 90 grand a week, yeah. Right? Take off 50% tax. I know everyone loves that. Yeah, that's before tax line. Yeah, right. So take 50 grand. No, say take 45 grand off of the 90 grand he's currently getting paid. What, you can't live off 45 grand a week?
Yeah,
and you've been getting that for a long time.
A year.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people earn that in 2 years. He's earning that in 1 week after tax. Yeah, right. So if you lot can all survive and all live, then so can he. Just because he's a footballer, don't mean he has to have a better lifestyle than us, does it? Yeah, that's my point, right? Now, at the end of the day, nobody is a loyal servant of a football club, right? Them days are dead. Nobody loves the football club. I've heard people say Aaron Ramsey and Mesut Ozil, they love the club. No, they don't. No, they don't. Somebody who loves the club is Tony Adams. Yeah? David Rocastle loved the football club. Man cried when he was told by George Graham, you're going to Leeds United. You ain't got a say in it. We are selling you. And he sat in the car with George Graham and cried like a girl. Yeah? Because he loves the fucking club. He grew up round the corner. It was his hometown team. Yeah? It was his local neighbourhood team. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like Ian Wright loves the football club. Right? And as much as I don't really rate Ian Wright off the pitch, you could tell every time he put a kit on and then boots on, that guy played for that badge. Right? These players nowadays have got no connection with the club. They might come out and all it's about is social media PR. Right? And it's not just Arsenal that do it. It's other clubs that do it. Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United, all these other clubs, right? When Tottenham got slapped 6-0, how many of their players put a sorry tweet out? How many? How many of them said, we're really sorry, that was an embarrassing defeat. I'm going to work hard in training and I'm going to go out there in the next game and I'm going to put that result right. Not fucking one of them, mate, because they're cowards. But as soon as Chelsea win their next game, everyone's all over social media again. Yeah, and this is what football has become now. It's a global sport now. Well, it was a global sport anyway, but the Premier League has now been globalised, right? Which is cool, and it's helped out every single Premier League football club, and even some of the lesser clubs in the Championship and League One and other leagues, yeah, because it's made it get beamed around the world, right? Which helps revenue streams because everyone buys shirts, etc., right? And people fly from all over the world to see a Premier League game, right? So I get it. We wouldn't have Aubameyang or even Ozil at our football club without a global fan base. That's a fact, right? But this myth that they love the football club, come on, man. The last one of that mould at this football club was Jack Wilshere. And even you could have a debate over it because he grew up supporting West Ham. And he's gone back to West Ham, right? The last proper one in football was probably John Terry. That I can think of just off the top of my head. The guy was at Chelsea so long, and you could tell he was Mr. Chelsea, the same as Tony Adams was our Mr. Arsenal. You know, this idea that players grow up going like, oh yeah, I'm from Germany or I'm from Wales, but I love.
Let me ask you a question then on this. Do you think Jenkinson loves the club?
Yeah, I do. But he also loves the fact that he
also loves his wage bucket.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Man, he's on fire. Do you know what? You're right. Actually, you're spot on. Jenkinson does love the club. His granddad played for the club. He just because he had pajamas and all that bollocks, don't mean he loves the club. but you can tell when he speaks. I mean, I don't really rate the geezer, and I don't think he should be here, and I don't think he will be here next year. But yeah, I suppose I'm contradicting myself by saying that. But yeah, he does love the club. You can tell that when he spoke after the game
You
the
know
other
what?
day, you could tell the passion coming out of him.
I still think if he'd still been on the same wage that he got signed for when he came to Arsenal, if he had the opportunity to still be with the club, I think he would have just took it. It wouldn't make a big fuss over big wages, but big wages were just being handed out, and it was like, "Where's mine?" And they didn't
Let
even
me ask
question
you
it.
both a
They gave it to
question
him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let me ask you both a question on Jenkinson. Do you think if he had any other manager than the previous manager, do you think he would have been a better player? Or do you just think he doesn't have it?
Possibly.
I think he would have been binned. Go on, Ola. You go first, man.
No, possibly. The reason why I say that is, look, nobody knows what a player is going to become when you sign him. Obviously, they saw something in him when they scouted him to bring him on. So the first thing you do is look at his first year, the productivity, how he responds in training. Is he going to get better with coaching? But one thing we did lack with the previous regime was coaching. Nobody was getting coached. It was almost like the man was throwing mud at the wall and see what sticks. And he did a lot of that with the players we had. Up until, a lot of the youngsters that we brought to the club, and we don't hear nothing of them again. Like Adelaide, Jeffrey Adelaide, like Cohen Bramall, all these guys. What the fuck happened to these guys? So to me, it's more of the coaching side of things. And if they're being coached, they're being drilled. And if you're not there, if you're not responding to it, then you get shipped out of the club. But something tells me for him they liked him at West Ham. I know that people would say maybe that's about his level and all of that. But for a good while, they saw something that they liked in Jenkinson. That the point where we record him, they wanted to keep him. And I was thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, it's like what Callum Chambers is doing at Fulham right now. They like him there, but the moment he comes back to us, it's like, what the fuck you been doing for the whole year you've been away? Because
I do have a feeling that Chambers will be a bit of a Jenkinson part 2.
This is what I'm trying to say.
I love Chambers, but I
like Chambers a lot, but at the same time, we're not a charity. We pay these guys big wages, and if you go to South America, for example, I mean the local clubs in South America, I guarantee you now, you will find football players that are technically gifted, that earn way less money. They probably ain't never had no football boots till they were 15, 16, where their parents struggled to fucking get them football boots together, and they can play way better football, more disciplined, more hungry, because they haven't seen the type of money that these guys have seen down the guys that we've got right now in, say, Chambers and the Bramals of this world and all of that. So what I'm trying to say is, if another coach had probably been in charge of someone like Jenkinson, there's a good chance it would have been binned, but you wouldn't know till you see how he responds to it, because there might be a quality or two that he likes about it. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword there. But to answer your question, I think it'll be more likely gone than not. So that's what I think about it.
Okay. Okay. Well, in terms of Ozil, for me, I think what I'd like to see between now and the end of the season, just going back to it, just finishing this off, is I'd like to see him. If this was me and this is real life, you don't get on with your manager. Your manager's called you out privately a couple of times, and you've decided for some unusual reason you'll respond on Twitter. My response for Monday would be, right, on Monday morning, I'm going to go in, I'm going to try and have 5-10 minutes with my manager and try and hash it out. So that one way or another, you make yourself undeniable, and kind of really just work hard and roll up your sleeves, because ultimately, I suppose that's a lot of people's issue with Ozil. Is he the type to roll up his sleeves? Is he the type to work hard? And I tell you what, Michael Hernandez, who has very kindly given a contribution, shout out to Michael Hernandez, has asked an interesting question. And I guess that kind of goes back to our earlier conversation about salary. But do you think fans' expectation is based on salary? We kind of touched on this before, but I think it's worth pointing out, and Ola made this comment earlier in the show. Does anyone know what Henry started with when he came to Arsenal? I don't. I kind of have an idea of what he finished on, but it's an idea. It certainly isn't something that people were screaming and shouting about.
And that's because he wanted to leave.
I think you only look at the value of something when it's not living up to that expectation. I think you do that with anything, with anything. You could do that with flipping that. I can buy something. I could buy a couch, and if it's not like sitting me right, I'm thinking to myself, how much did I pay for this shit again? You do that naturally, exactly. and I think that's no different in football. When you think about a player, and if that a good example is Reyes. You know Antonio Reyes. I was so vexed when we got him. Right. The reason being was because at the time, I don't care if he plays for Spurs now. I will tell you straight, I loved Jermaine Defoe at the time. I really did. I thought he was the exact type of player we needed to kick ourselves on.
And he's an Arsenal fan as well.
And he's an Arsenal fan. And we had an opportunity at that time. He was desperate to come to us. And he had an opportunity at that time. We could have bought him for 5 million. Instead, in the previous manager's wisdom, he decided, nah, I'm going to swerve around that and pay 17 million for a lightweight Spaniard that no one had ever heard of. And
another long list. Add that to another long list of the players.
To be fair, Reyes didn't do that bad. Yeah, he didn't do that bad. But if I had the choice, I would have picked.
It was always homesick, though, man. Man's always moaning about how cold it was.
Yeah, bro.
All of that bollocks.
Have you seen how many Europa Leagues that guy's won?
Yeah, well, after
about 5 or 6 Europa Leagues, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I didn't even realize he was still playing. Truth be told, it was only I think it was last season I saw him playing for a team that I think we were playing for, or I can't remember that we were playing. I thought, oh shit, okay, yeah. So I've just seen a comment from Johnny Boss calling me a muppet because I wanted Jermaine Defoe. You mean one of the best Premier League strikers that's ever been? Okay, Johnny, sit down, please sit down. Must be one of D2's boys. Anyway, so yeah, for me, I think that was always something that kind of was prominent to me, and I guess moving forward, I'd just like to see people who are going to work hard and produce. That ultimately, that's it. I have nothing against Mesut Ozil. You know, for all the people saying he's an artist, sure, but even artists work hard. You know. From my memory, Mark Overmars was an artist. My man was still a hard worker. Robert Perez was an artist. My man worked hard. You know, and that's all I want to see from him. Be an artist, by all means. But all I'm personally saying is I just want to see these players produce week in, week out. Whoever's in that 18. And that's my point. So for Ozil's sake, I hope he goes in there on Monday, fresh attitude, train hard, become undeniable to the manager. And then if ultimately that still doesn't work, then leave. Take your pride and leave. And if you want to sell whatever story you want to sell about Emery, so be it. But to me, the most productive thing and the least disruptive thing I want to see Ozil do between now and the end of the season is become undeniable to Emery. If you really love the club, don't be disruptive. Work hard.
But ain't that what everyone cussed Alexis Sanchez for? Being destructive.
Exactly.
And we're 1 point off fourth. We can't deal with this bullshit, man. You either sit down and take a back seat and keep your mouth shut, or you work hard and
Yeah.
get back in the team.
Them quotes
Simple
weren't
as.
even his quotes though. Like, at least get original. Like, be original.
But why didn't he say victory through harmony, or remember who you are, what you are, and what you represent?
Do
Instead, he's
something
coming out with
original,
Burkamp, man.
You know what I mean?
It's funny actually because that's next on my agenda. I'm so glad you brought it up because I know people are tired of us speaking about Ozil. Let's move shit onto Alexis Sanchez. So there was a story that came out yesterday that Alexis Sanchez would be open to the idea of moving back to Arsenal. I already know Lee's answer to this. I want to know Ola's answer to this. Ola, would you have Alexis Sanchez back?
Look, I didn't really dislike the guy. I just wanted his fucking dog banners at the fucking stadium. You know what I mean? I was mad at the dog banners, man. Them dog banners, they were killing me, fam. Like, the thing was murdering me, man. I couldn't fucking. I still feel mugged off by having that banner there for so long for the reason we had it there in the first place, which was to make him stay. And the fucking banner, even when the man fucked off, the banner was still fucking there.
Yeah, it was.
You know
I went to the very first game.
That was
after he'd
muggy.
gone, it was still
it
up.
was muggy as fuck. And look, I love this guy. Every time that I went to the stadium, throughout the time that I was there, I paid my money to watch that guy's quality on the pitch. I mean, it was ridiculous to watch. Look, he's just one of those players that, regardless of what's going on, he leaves it all on the pitch. Again, the hard work was always there. The intensity was always there. The intensity was that much that Bellerin made a statement that rubbed Lee the wrong way, coming back from fucking Belarus or wherever the fucking.
Do you know what? That was a year ago. A year ago tomorrow, I made that video.
You know what I'm trying to say? So that's the type of intensity that he brings in the dressing room. And I would have been open to him coming back, provided he left the dogs in Battersea dogs' homes, or he sold the dogs to the Chinese people. They do very, very good spare ribs. I like them spare ribs as well. You know what I mean? That's the next story. Anyways, besides the point.
How about yourself,
For me, all day long. I'll drive to Manchester now after driving down to North London to pick up a certain German. I'll drive him up to Manchester. I'll drop him off and I'll pick up Alexis and bring him back. All day long. All day long. Straight swap him. See ya. Yeah. At the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says, right? Them dog banners, as Ola said, were a fucking disgrace. But that shows how sad and muggy a lot of our fan base is. That, let's make a dog banner in the hope that this guy stays. Yeah?
It's fucking ridiculous.
It is fucking embarrassing. Last season, we voted as fans, not me, but others, the majority, voted Aaron Ramsey our player of the year in the hope he stayed. There's a fucking theme going on here, isn't there? That you give the dog banners to make him stay, he leaves. You vote for a player who wasn't player of the year to get player of the year, and he leaves. It's like, come on, man, seriously. At the end of the day, I don't care what anyone tells me about Alexis Sanchez. That guy is the best player we have had in the Emirates era, or especially in the last 8 to 10 years. Yeah, I know Henry came back for a little while, and I know we've had other players. Fabregas, I love Fabregas as well, by the way. I know I'm going to get hate for that, but yeah, but that guy was a fucking genius, and I'd still have him now.
I mean, right? Lee, if you look at all the he's been gone a year now. He's been gone a year, and still till tomorrow, when they're showing Alexis's fucking highlight reels, he's in a fucking Arsenal shirt. That shows how much the guy did when he was with us. He's in a fucking Arsenal. They can't show no highlight reels in his fucking United fucking shirt.
See, this is the thing as well, right? This is the thing as well, right? Everyone says, "Oh yeah, but he gives the ball away." That's another stupid thing Arsenal fans do. Oh yeah, but let's count how many times he gives the ball away. Yeah, the guy scored how many goals in how many games? Even this season, when he went to Man United, he scored 9 goals by the end of December. from August to the end of December. He scored 9 goals. Apparently, this guy was disruptive. Apparently, he didn't want to be at the club. Apparently, he was doing whatever the fuck he wanted in training. These are all the stories that have come out. But guess what? Against Crystal Palace, his very last game that I witnessed, I was there. That guy scored 2 goals in that game. The guy behind me wouldn't shut up moaning about him the whole fucking way through the game. And then when he scored the 2 goals, I turned around and I was like, you're still moaning about him. You got something to say now. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, he still scored 9 goals that season and then fucked off to United. And like, there's been so many times. I'll give you an example. Coughlin, second yellow card against Tottenham. We're down to 10-minute White Hart Lane. Out of nowhere, Alexis Sanchez gets the equaliser. And people forget this as well, right? Alexis Sanchez qualified us for the Champions League in a qualifier. I think it might have even been his first goal against Besiktas. We done them 1-0. That qualified us for the group stage, yeah? He scored against Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham. Yeah. Say again? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Chris?
No, just saying your internet's Kenning right now as you're talking.
Oh, is it?
But
no,
carry on.
I was saying he's scored against every big team we've played. He scored 2 goals in 2 cup semi-finals. He scored 2 goals in 2 cup finals. And people laughed him out the club. Oh, he's a snake. He's this, he's that. If he wanted trophies, he would have gone to City. I'm sorry, right? Yeah, that's cool. But Man United are the biggest football club in the world. Let's just not forget that, yeah? Right? And I think that if we had the opportunity to bring him back, snap his arms off to get him back. Because I say saying he is the perfect player under Unai Emery. He'll run around all day long for you. He's got absolute quality. He'll get stuck in. Stoppage time, he'll be slide tackling on the edge of our box to get us a win, like to stop them scoring. And when you compare that to other players in our squad, it'd still easily be our best player. You know, he'd walk straight back into our team and he'd go left wing and we'd put Iwobi right side.
I must admit, you make a fair point, because my initial reaction was hell no, and now it's just no, as opposed to hell no. My thing with him is, here's the good things that he brings. I think even now you'll get a different type of intensity with him. He's the one person where, listen, I'm an Iwobi fan. Even I will say this. As shit as Alexis has been, he'll be more productive than Iwobi on that side. I'm man enough to admit that. I think he's a winner. Lord knows we need winners. I can almost guarantee our mutual friend Zach from Twitter, shout out to Zach, who yes, I know Zach. Absolutely. You think Lee hates Ozil? Oh my gosh, you hate flipping heck. But I guarantee Zach loved Alexis, because he's just that type of player that when he plays for your team and he's on a decent form, you think to yourself, okay, this is everything I love in a footballer.
Yeah, my only Chris, sorry, Chris, right? Oh. Even when he's not on form and the team ain't on form, out of nothing, that guy produces a bit of magic, you win the game. Yeah, we ain't got that in our squad right now. We ain't got nothing like that in our squad. One little bit of magic and you win the game out of him, no matter how shit you're playing.
Yeah, for me, here's the thing though. How bad has Jose?
I disagree, Lee. I think Czech gives you the bit of magic you need, man. No matter how shit you are, Czech always finds a way to lose sight of what is meant to be catching.
I was going to say,
I was thinking, I was talking about Czech, man. Like, is he stoned or something?
Yeah, Czech needs some of the shit that I've been smoking. God damn it. There's something wrong with that guy's life. But carry on. I was just trolling, man.
No, for me, I just think with Sanchez, he's 30 years old now. He looks like a shadow of the player that he once was. I saw a quote coming out from him today that all he needs is the ball and if he has the ball, he'll be able to do more.
He'll be able to give it away.
I just think, yes, we need a player of Sanchez's ilk, but I think we've seen the best of him, and I think it's now time to move on. And
can I just chime in real quick here on the Sanchez thing before we move off of it? The problem with Sanchez was he was moving to a club where they had a few superstars, right? That was levels with him, or maybe even levels above him, right? At Arsenal, he was the guy. He would lose the ball 50 times. We will work hard, so hard to get the ball back and give it to him. And we know once in that 50 times, he's going to try something and it's going to come off. But at United, they ain't got that luxury. If they give him the ball 10 times and he loses it 8 times, they ain't giving it back to him. Because there's other players to give it to.
Other players that can do something.
There's other players that can do stuff with it. And that's why he's not really shined at Manchester United. That's why he's having the problem he's having at Manchester United.
Yeah.
Over at Arsenal, he was the guy. He was the go-to guy. He was the outlet. He was the guy that can just change the course of the game like that because we gave him the ball so much.
If that transfer did happen, which it is never going to, but if it did, there'll be an awful lot of people deleting their tweets from when he signed for United.
Oh, yes. I know exactly who they are.
Mate, I'd have to delete some. Now, to be fair, right, the day he signed for United, I was like, listen, I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit for leaving. At the end of the day, we were a sinking ship and he was our best player. Fair play to him for getting out, mate. Because I'll tell you something, this fan base, as fucked up as it is at times, right? This is the last thing I'm going to say on Sanchez, right? A large percentage of this fan base ended up getting a banner made for him, for his dogs, right? For his fucking dog. The man's even got an Instagram account for his dogs, for fuck's sake.
Turns my belly, mate.
Right? The geezer's a bit of a weirdo, let's be real, right? But what I will say is, another large percentage of that large percentage that got the fucking banner made was sitting there cussing him when he left. Yeah. Hang on. I blame you for the banner. He probably thought, that's a bit fucking weird. Well, I want to get out of here. You know what I mean? Like fucking, what, they've actually made a banner to think I'm going to stay. He's probably thinking, fucking weirdos, see you later. You know what I mean? Fucking weirdos, mate. Let's make a banner for his dogs. How embarrassing. And people want to know why we're a banter club. It's because of shit like that. That's why.
Yeah. I agree with what you've just said, to be fair. I'd still lean with no, but I could see, I wouldn't be mad if we re-signed him. It's just I feel like there are younger, better options. I'm still praying for Pepe from what the fuck is the name?
From Leo.
I was going to say Leon. I was like, yeah, Leon. Leo. I know it's a miracle. It'll take a miracle to get him, but I think that kid could be real something special. That guy keeps banging in goals. His stats are ridiculous. But let's see. Okay. Moving away from...
Sonny just said we've got more chance of getting fucking Sanchez's dogs back. Shout out Sonny. Shout out Sonny.
Yeah, I saw Sonny was in the chat.
I don't want the fucking dogs, Sonny, man.
My favourite Awobi hater is Sonny right there, I tell you.
Right, to be fair, the dogs are moving around the pitch a lot better than half of our players.
Fair point. They give a lot more effort as well. I'll tell you. Okay, moving on. So speaking of signings, today PSG were linked with a bid for Matteo Guendouzi, a £60 million bid, because supposedly they have that in the clause. What do you think about that, Lee? 60 million, considering we have.
If that is the case, if that is 60 million, which I don't believe for 1 minute, right? But if that is the case, sell him.
I'll drive him there. I'll drive him there.
Yeah, get him on the Eurostar, and off he goes.
My cousin brought the story up, and I really like Guendouzi. I do rate him. But as soon as I saw that story, I was like,
none of them little chattered planes, though. Please, just to make sure he gets there.
Immediately sell him.
Fucking hell,
bro. I had to go there, but I was just saying.
Ollie's going to get the show fucking kicked off air.
Listen,
Chat planes, bro. I fly Emirates, mate. Make sure it gets there, blood.
listen. I only caught the end of it and then realised what Ola must have said. But yeah, for me, as soon as I saw that, I was like, 60 million, take him immediately. We'll find another young central midfielder that can do his job, no problem. Take him, 60 million. Ola, what do you think about that story?
I mean, I think it's bullshit.
Of course, it must be.
I don't see 60 million like a player we bought right under their nose. It was in the same league as them, with the same manager that we just got off of it. But he saw it early and went to get him. But the player I think they've got a host of players. They still got Adrian Rabiot over there, and they don't know what to do with him.
Yeah, but he's desperate to leave, isn't he?
Yeah, but why would they want Guendouzi?
But Rabiot's in his last year, isn't he?
Yeah, Rabiot is going to leave in the summer.
The thing is, all right, they've got people like Verratti there. They still got a talented squad. Kuku, the guy that we're trying to get off. They got a whole load of players that they don't know what to do.
I think it didn't Guendouzi originally start at PSG.
It was in their academy. It was in their academy as well.
Yeah, that's how they have the clause in the contract.
To me, it'd be a pie in their face if they went to pay 60 million to him, and we would have done very, very good business if that was to be true. But I think that's the model that we're trying to go with moving forward, signing all these young players.
Sorry, just to interrupt. Claude goes, sell Guendouzi and give the coach back to PSG.
Buy one, get one free.
Claude does not. Emery's done with Claude, boy. I tell you,
he don't play, does he? You know what I mean?
So, with Emery, boy, shit.
So I think if we this is the model we're trying to follow now, which is buying all these young players, making them into very, very good players that we can sell on for good amount of money, and if you look at the business that we've done in the past, the one that still hurt, look, till these days, I'm still pissed off about it. Darren Bent went for more money than Thierry Henry in the same fucking season, in the same summer.
Same transfer window, wasn't it?
18 million it went for. We sold Henry for 16. That still fucking pisses me off till today. And that goes to show how shit our business has been for decades. It's about time that we start getting decent amount of money for our players. Look, if you look in the market now.
Do you know what? Since David Dean's left, we've had our pants pulled down every transfer deal, yeah? When he was here, he used to pull everyone else's pants down.
Yep.
And this is the problem, but we now have people in place now that seems to know what they're doing in terms of doing business and buying players at the right prices. We'll see what their real talent of selling players is come summer. Because if they're going to get something like 12, 15 million for someone like El Nini, then I'll start rating these people. Like, okay, you guys really know what the fuck you're doing. So up until
get 10 for El Nini. Remember, they signed him to a new contract last April. They must have done that for a reason.
We need to start seeing some money back for even someone like Callum Chambers that we tied up in a new deal. Yeah. I want to see. Look, if someone like Solanke that's not fucking played no football, he ain't played as much football as Callum Chambers. Callum Chambers has been on loan for 2 seasons. He's not played the amount of football as Callum Chambers. Why shouldn't we be commanding more money for Callum Chambers than him? There's no reason, but because we're Arsenal, clubs are gonna look to mug us off. Yeah. And I want to see how that's gonna happen. How it's gonna pan out this season with our business dealings, especially with outgoings, and that will really say what these new people that we've got in charge, what they're really about. So it's going to be interesting to see to see in the summer.
Yeah, I agree. Big shout out to the 240 plus that are currently listening to us live. If you're watching, rush that like button for me. It really helps the show get noticed, and it lets me know that you're liking what you're seeing. Let's move it on to the top four. So I know Lee done a video about this. I don't want to talk about precisely the same thing, but normally, typically around this time of year, I'll do a video with either Lee or Ola about the top four race from an Arsenal perspective, and then I'll do another one. Normally, the international break, I'll do one with Scout and Robbie, who are United and Liverpool fans, about the top four race. Not that Liverpool have anything to worry about with regards to the top four race, but I know Robbie will like to participate in that anyway. Bit of a tradition of ours. We normally do it, so we'll be participating in that. But I just wanted to kind of speak to the boys about it. Now, Ola, in terms of the top four race, straight up, do you think Arsenal will get there? We're only a point away. Yes, United are occupying fourth, and they look fantastic under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They look like a new team, but we're not that far away. We do, in theory, have the easiest running out of the three teams. So if let's just throw away third place because we ain't making third. Let's just be honest. As much as it pains me to admit, let's be honest. So really, we're looking at fourth place, and that's between United, Chelsea, and us. Do you see us being able to get there?
After Thursday's game, you know me, I'm a knee jerking. You know what I mean? I knee jerk a lot. I jerk a lot of other things too. Jeez. But but I did say at the time we had no chance if we played like that. The way we played against Bate Boris, I couldn't believe my eyes. Then I thought to myself, you know what? That's a knee-jerk reaction. Really back a little bit. Mitigating circumstances here and there. Look, we still have put out enough players to win the game. We put out, people were talking about is the system, and I was saying to myself, look, how can you blame the system when we had 9 fucking corner kicks and you didn't beat the fucking first man? It's ridiculous to blame the system. It's a quality problem, and that was clear right through the game. But if we carry on playing like that, which we got tendencies to do, because this is the problem. We say we got the easiest running going to the end of the season. People look at those teams on paper and call it easy wins or winnable games, as they like to call it. I don't call it winnable games. You know why? Because we're playing teams that they got everything to fight for. They're fighting for their lives right now. This is the business end of the season. This is the time that every point that these teams get means something to them. Every nil or one less goal that they concede could keep them in the Premier League. And this is where it gets difficult. And I've always thought we found it a lot more difficult towards the end of the season than we do starting the season. And I feel like we're gonna go through the same stumbling blocks again. And look, if we don't, I feel like these teams they know how to set up against us, because the way we're playing right now, yeah, we haven't got problems scoring goals. We scored a lot of goals this season. I've mentioned it in previous shows. We scored a lot of goals. I think in the Premier League, we tie on goals with Spurs. And you're saying we can't get third. Forget about third. So, and I'm assuming you're giving third place to Spurs, right? And leaving first and second to Man City and Liverpool. So if we score the same amount of goals as they've got, the problem that we've got is picking the ball out of the back of our net. And teams know how to do that. One ball over the top and one bam, they're in. And it's look, set piece. We've not really considered from like corner kicks this season. back to Borislav was the first. They were the first people to do it. They ain't played fucking football in donkeys, and we managed to fucking gift them a goal. But that's another story. We'll leave that till Christmas, right? But the point I'm making is it's gonna be harder. People think it's easy running. It's not as easy as it looks. Teams are gonna come to Arsenal. We've got 6 home games, 6 away games. They're gonna come to us thinking they can grab a point. They always do. And one way or the other, we always manage to give them what they want. So, and I guarantee you, one of those teams that look like they're going down this season, we're going to be the one that keeps them up.
No. Okay.
Yeah. So, I think we're going to be 5th.
Yeah. Honestly, that's my gut feeling as well. I think we're going to miss out. And it's only because Chelsea are worse. Lee, how about yourself? In your heart of hearts, I know you predicted at the start of the season, as you made your point in your video, saying that we'd finish 5th. But you've also made a point of saying whenever somebody says we're worse this season, and we're rightly so, that we're only a point off top 4. Do you see us making top 4?
Sorry, you cut out, mate. Say it again.
Sorry. As you said yourself, we're only a point off top 4. Do you see us making top 4?
Let me ask you a question before I answer that. If we was 1 point off top, do you think we'd have the chance for the title? Do you think we could win a title? If we were 1 point off of first, with 12 games to go, do you think we could win the title?
That's a weird question because it would be...
because we'll still be in the chance, yes. I see where you're going with this, Lee, but
exactly.
Carry on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Here's what I think that's a weird question. If we're 1 point off top, we're looking at a completely different Arsenal, aren't we? So it's not really the same question. Because
it is because it's the expectation, right? The expectation would be if we're 1 point off top that we expect to challenge for the rest of the season for that title, and we've got a great chance to win it. But because we're 5th, and we finished 6th last season, 5th the season before, it's we're 5th, we're shit. Yeah, fuck it, we ain't got no chance of top 4. Man United are better. Let's down tools. That's how it comes across.
I would expect any team who is 1 point off top, Leicester showed that, to challenge for the league. I would expect any team in February to be 1 point off top. You're in the title race, son.
Hold on.
That's the same for top 4.
Let me flip it back on you now, Lee. Yeah. Because I see where he was trying to get on the clever thing just now. If we're 1 point, if we're 1 point from the top, but then if we're 1 point from top. Right, with the defense that we've got, would you still think we'll win the league?
And there you go. Now you're back to reality.
That's a great spin, right? And props to you, yeah.
Right?
We'd be 1 point off top for a reason, and that's because we were banging goals in the other end.
But the team that you're 1 point off is got better defense than you, and they're scoring as much goals as we've got, and you still think we've got a chance?
I still would, yeah. I still think we would because we're in that position. And the way I look at it, right, at the start of the season, let's all be real here, yeah? Right? We're all kind of honest in this chat right now, yeah? In this podcast, right? We have got the 6th best squad in the league. Right? So currently, we are 1 spot ahead of where we actually should be, right? In terms of squad. Right? Then you add a manager into that. Where would you rate Emery out of the 6 managers? Because the way I'm looking at it, I'd put him behind.
I put him above Sarri. At least he's won something.
All day long, mate. That geezer's had more fucking clubs than I've had chicks. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's had about fucking 120 clubs, the geezer. Right? Fucking seriously. But I think that he's better than Sarri. I think he's better than Solskjaer.
Of course, yeah.
But Man United have got a better squad. But Solskjaer isn't anywhere near Emery on levels, like for manager.
better than Poch. I don't care what anyone tells me. I don't care, bruv.
Because he's been there, he's done it, he's won it. Not in England, obviously. Pep's Poch has never won nothing. Is he better than Klopp? That's a tough one. That's a tough question, right?
That is a tough one.
He's 100% not better than Pep Guardiola. That's fact. That ain't even a debate, yeah? If anyone thinks he's better than Pep, they need their head testing, right? Yeah. Is he better than Klopp? I don't know. I'd say that's pretty close. I'd say that's fairly close. At the end of the day, they've both won trophies, but none of them have obviously won in this country, and Klopp's been here 3-4 years now. If Klopp don't win nothing this season, I can see him being binned anyway. Right? But in answer to the actual question...
I think Klopp is better. I'll put it out there.
I'd go with that. I'd go with that. Yeah, I would go with that for now. Ask me again at the end of the season, I might have a different answer. But in answer to the question, if you look at the league table, we're 1 point off of 4th place. We've got the 6th best squad in the league, right? And we've got the best running out of us, Man United and Chelsea. Chelsea are virtually down in tools, man. Come on, getting whacked up 4s and 6s away from home. They're basically us from last season. They're like, fuck that. Yeah, we'll turn it on at home every now and again. Yeah? But away, nah, we ain't about that life. Fuck that, man. Have a fucking win. Have a win. And listen, if you look at their away form and then look at their away fixtures for the rest of the season, they're in trouble. Because if they carry on like that, they're fucked and they will finish 6th. But they might even finish 7th.
They could look at it and say they're still in all competitions.
Yeah, they're going to get slapped in the final. They'll beat Man United tomorrow. I think they will beat them. But they will finish 6th and they won't win the Europa League, but they'll probably get further than us.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But I still think that...
So you're saying they'll beat Man United on the basis of their defence is better than our defence?
I think they'll beat Man United based on the fact that they need to put a performance in for their fans. And yeah, I know they're in the cup final already, but this is now Man United. And when they play, is it at Stamford Bridge?
I think so. I think it is.
When they play Man United at Stamford Bridge, right? Man United were all over them in that game, and Ross Barkley equalised in the 96th minute, right? But Man United took them apart. But Martial was unreal that day. Martial's not playing. Lingard's not playing. And both of them players have had a big impact since Solskjaer's turned up, right? And that'll be a big factor as well, because if you look here, when Man United play us in a couple of weeks' time, they've got PSG just before us, 3 days earlier, whatever it is. Right now, whether they think they're through or not, or got a chance to go through, or not, is irrelevant. They're still going to go there and give it a go, right? Because they're Man United, which could go well for us. Man United's fixtures between now and the end of the season, they've still got to play Chelsea. Sorry, they've still got to play us. They've still got to play Man City. They've still got to play Tottenham. They've still got to play Liverpool.
They play Tottenham twice. They won one, lost one.
Yes, you're right. Sorry, I'm lying. They've still got to play Liverpool, which is their next league game. Yeah. They've still got to play us. They've still got to play Man City. Do you know what I'm saying? There's some big games in there, man. Plus the fact that they've got this cup game against Chelsea. Plus the fact they've got the cup final against Man City. If you add all of that and the PSG games, Man United have got the best squad out of the 3 of us chasing that 4th spot. But they've also got the fucking biggest fixture list in terms of big games. When you look at Chelsea's fixture list, Chelsea's fixtures ain't that bad. Then compare them to us. We've only got Spurs and Man United. They're the only top 6 teams we've got.
I noticed this a couple of weeks ago when people were banging on about how good United were. And I'm like, yeah, but they're beating teams that you would expect them to beat. I mean, I know they weren't under Jose, but you always... Clearly, the squad are completely tapped out on Jose. So, for me, I thought it was no real surprise that they were going... Their run wasn't too dissimilar from the run that we were going when we were unbeaten. So, for me, I always knew that we would have an easier finish to the season. But like you say, this is Arsenal. At the moment, we'd struggle to Huddersfield. We'd struggle to most teams. So...
But basically, it all comes down to who puts a consistent run of form together out of us 3 teams. If somebody goes on a winning run of 5-6 games, that's effectively game over. But
And
if
to
two
be
teams
fair,
do that, then it'll go all the way to the end and goal difference and shit like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but people
You're
are
right.
looking at it as we got to get 4 points from Spurs and United game, and then we have to win the rest of the games that we got in the league, and then that guarantees you 4th place. It essentially does, but the problem we've got is we don't have the team to consistently go and beat
I
10
disagree
other
with.
teams.
I disagree with that for one simple reason. We showed earlier in the season we are capable
but that's
of going on
because we didn't have players that's got season-ending injuries at the time that you're talking about. Now we've got
a big miss, man.
But now it's a big miss. Bellerin is
But then we've got Mavrapanos
so key to how we play. Yeah, but he hasn't
got
played all season.
back.
He hasn't really played all season.
Mavrapanos has played 4 times for Arsenal first team, man. We
He
can't rely on
hasn't.
him.
We can't rely on him.
For me-
So the problem.
me,
That's the
Bruv, are you telling me Mavrapanos ain't better than Mustafi? Let's not
We
have
don't
this
know. We've
conversation.
only seen him
we
4
don't.
times.
I couldn't really say because Mustafi
Let's be real
on a
here.
day
We've
when
only
he
seen
really
him play
wants
4
it,
times.
on a day when he really wants it, it can be like Maldini. And
For all our,
9
for
other
all our
games is a cunt.
for all our bitching about our defense, and then we have someone who I hate to use a previous manager words here is like a new signing. Why not use that new signing?
Do you know why? I'm gonna hit the nail on the head with this, right? The reason we ain't putting him in the side as a starting 11 player is for a couple of reasons, right? Yes, Mustafi's a liability at times, but watch how much better Mustafi gets when Socrates comes back in, right? Because when they played together, Mustafi was less of a liability. That is a fact, right?
You rate Mustafi a hell of a lot more than that.
No. I don't rate him. I just think that
You
he's
just
better
think
than somebody who's
it's
not
like
played
it's like
for
it's like
Arsenal.
Lovren. It's like Lovren next to what's his name?
Yeah,
Van
Dijk. Because
Let me tell you now,
Lovren
I'd rather
is a
have
fucking
Lovren.
disaster on his own.
I'd rather have Lovren. If you want me to be real, I think he's
Man,
much
he's
better.
better now
point I was
under
gonna say-
Klopp after a couple seasons. But Lovren under Brendan Rodgers. Are you still saying the same thing, bro?
See, the point I was going to say, right, is Mustafi's won a World Cup. He's won a World Cup. He's been there. He's done it. He's won it, right? Yes, I know he had better players around him, but he still had a part to play. He still got in the starting 11 and played a couple of games, whatever, right? Why would we take somebody that's got bags of experience, even though he might be a liability? Why would you take that out there when, let's be real, your job could be on the line? If you don't get top 4, we don't know whether he's been told he's sacked if you don't get top 4. We don't know that. So why would you take an experienced World Cup winning centre-back out to go and throw in a kid who's played 4 times for Arsenal? Why would you do that?
I hear your logic, but if this is just the let me tell you something. Let me say something right now. The exact same argument you make for Ozil is the exact same argument you can make for Mustafi. It's the exact same thing. On paper, Ozil is the World Cup winning magician. Why would you take him out of the team? And you said yourself, you made a weekend of saying, well, Ozil doesn't work hard enough. Mustafi does not work hard enough. It doesn't happen. He makes mistakes.
Yeah, but Chris, they're completely different. They're completely
game.
different, right? They're completely different, right? And I'll tell you why they're completely different.
Oh,
because
brother.
Mkhitaryan works so much better off the ball than Ozil. Fact. Alex Iwobi works so much harder off the ball than Ozil. Fact. Right?
Mustafi works harder too.
Hang on. Mustafi is a liability. He won't be here next season. But how do you know, or anybody else know, that a kid who has played probably about, in total minutes, probably about 200 minutes for Arsenal Football Club, how do you know that guy is going to be so much better on a match day?
I'm sorry, I'm with Lee on this one.
The Mustafi who's been there, done it,
you
seen it,
have
got the
to
t-shirt.
you have to paddle yourself out of this.
I don't care. The chat room. I'll back you in this one.
You're going down the waterfall here with no paddle.
Got me on this one. Brother, we have seen 2 defenders. Forget their ages. Forget their CVs. We've seen 2 defenders. One has been at least a good player, and one we've seen as a disaster. I don't give a damn what he's won or how good he is on paper. For me, my whole thing about Ozil, and I thought we were on the same page about it, but apparently not. My thing about Ozil is this motherfucker doesn't work hard enough. So why have him in the team? Because he's Mesut Ozil. But you guys are literally making the exact...
Not at all. You're missing the point. The point is...
I'm just saying, we've seen enough of Ozil. We haven't seen enough of Mavrapanos to make the type of judgment that you're calling right now. We've only seen him play 4 times for the club in 2 years that we've signed him. And some of them he's been off the bench. One of them he got sent off. He didn't even play a full game. So you can't really judge Mavrapanos and his performance.
If he's
with
good
Mustafi,
enough,
I've seen Mustafi
Yeah, and
play.
guess what? If he was good enough, he would have played more than 4 games, and not even full games, right? Not only that, if he was good enough, he'd get a spot of centre back over Nacho Monreal, who's a left back.
I've seen Mustafi play more games. Granted, is a liability. Granted, is like the man downs a whole bottle of lube in his boots before he goes on the pitch.
And the difference between Ozil, and Mustafi is we have got players that the manager clearly thinks is better than Ozil, hence why they're starting. If he had a player that he thought was better than Mustafi, he would play him. We've seen that because he's benched Ozil all season.
And he's benched Mustafi when
the manager doesn't make mistakes.
He's benched Mustafi. Hold on, he's benched Mustafi while Koscielny has been back when Socrates was there.
Let's not act like the manager doesn't make mistakes. For me, I don't understand that argument. We've seen Mustafi in action. It's not like my man's had a poor part of the season, was injured for a period of time. He's come back, and I'm not giving him a chance. We've seen him throughout the season.
Can I ask you a question then? Who do you think has made the most mistakes this season? Koscielny, who's barely played, or Mustafi? That have led to a goal. How many mistakes has Mustafi made that led to a goal? How many mistakes has Koscielny made that have led to a goal?
I'm going to see if I can.
Because I'll tell you something now. I will put the money on it. Koscielny has made more mistakes that have directly led to a goal.
I am certain I can think of at least 2 involving Mustafi right now. I can think of at least 2. Really,
bro? I'm not saying Mustafi's an angel. Look, I'm the one that comes here and says to you, this guy needs prayer.
Hold on. We are talking about a defense that has leaked the goals it has, regardless of how many times a player has played for Arsenal before. I can say, all right, then I signed someone in January who was injured, but he's a good player. He's a good defender. Let's see what he can do, because clearly this defense is not working the way it is, including a Squadron Mustafi. So you take my Mustafi out, who is clearly the person that is the one that is making...
Koscielny's made more mistakes this season, and he's played half the games.
I know you don't like Koscielny,
mate. Three goals against Southampton. 3 goals against Southampton. No. 3 goals against Southampton. Go back and watch all 3 of them goals against Southampton. Don't dare tell me all 3 of them goals were not Koscielny's fault. And it's no coincidence. Coincidence that we have lost 7 out of 14 games, and he's played the majority of them, Koscielny.
Sonny's on his Grizzly. Sonny boy is on his Grizzly. He said Lee Gunners made more mistakes in this podcast than Ozil has made the entire season. Get in there, Sonny.
I'm still waiting for my beer, boy. I'm still waiting for my beer.
Sonny's on his Grizzly.
Listen, to clarify, I'm not saying Mustafi is the fucking answer, right? But what I am saying is 2 managers have had Mavrapanos. And between them, they've played them not even 4 whole games. There's a fucking reason for that. I hear what
you're saying, but isn't that the point of looking at the kid? Because the last time I saw the kid play, he didn't do too badly.
Yeah, he didn't do too badly. He came on against Man City with 10 minutes to go. Yeah, or 5 minutes to go, right?
Are any of us saying that Mavrapanos is a bad player?
Well, we don't know, do we? Let's be real.
I like the look of him from what I've seen, but not enough to judge him. Not enough to.
Brother, you're the same guy I saw earlier in one of. You're the same guy earlier in one of your previews that I saw you say we should play Zed Medley. Zed Medley, but you won't play Mavrapanos. Come on, no.
Listen, I've actually seen more of Medley this season than I've seen.
Get him, Chig.
I have seen more of Medley this season, believe it or not, yeah, than I have of fucking Mavrapanos. And let's be real here. Let's be real. We're not in a position where we can start fucking throwing kids into a situation right now. It's not like the start of the season when we started Guendouzi first game of the season, right? If we'd started Mavrapanos first game of the season against City, then played him away at Chelsea, like we did again with Guendouzi, right? At this stage of the season, you could then go, yeah, do you know what? You could make an assumption on that player based on what you've seen, yeah? And you could say, yeah, he should start over him or him or him. The fact he's hardly played for 2 years at this football club, how I don't get it. I know Mustafi's shit, our whole backline is shit, right? But
so you'd rather what you're saying is you'd rather a shit but proven defender as opposed
over a kid that's hardly played. Yeah. All day long.
Maybe I'm different, but I've not seen anything in that kid that gives me the worries.
Yeah, but what teams has he played against, Chris? Tell me the 4 games he's played. Who's he played against? He came on for 10 minutes against Man City, so you can't judge that 10 minutes because at that point they were fucking all over us, right? So you can't judge him on that 10 minutes against City the other week, yeah? He got sent off in one of the games he's played. Therefore, he's a liability in that game, right? So what are the other 2 games he's played? No,
and Mustafi.
When was the last time Mustafi got sent off? Has he even been sent off? The kid lost his head and got sent off. In a Premier League football match.
Just because you walk a wire doesn't mean you ain't dicing with death. Every time he goes to the ground. Come on. I'm not sitting here saying I rate Mustafi,
but the argument to put a kid in who's played 4 games for Arsenal or made an appearance 4 times for Arsenal, one was against City with 10 minutes to go, and one he's been sent off. Come on, mate. How are we
pay attention, viewers. This is the part where we don't all get along. Yeah?
This is
we don't always agree.
YouTuber thinks that I kiss Lee's ass. Because when Lee says some madness like this, I'm like, what is this guy?
Yeah, but Chris, seriously, the guy's featured in 4 games for Arsenal, yeah? He's been sent off in one of them, and one of them he played 10 minutes. And we're sitting there going, our top 4 hopes are pinned on this kid who's never played. Mate, listen, the fact that we're 1 point off 4th, as it stands, with Mustafi as centre-back, don't you think we're fucking punching? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you not think we're punching? Yeah? So let's just keep it as it is, rather than putting a kid in who got sent off in a Premier League game, yeah? And has played 10 minutes of another Premier League game. I can't even remember the other 2 he's played. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, why change that and put that in there? Because now you've got a goalkeeper that is our Premier League goalkeeper. Every single one of them centre-backs knows their role when Leno's in goal. Every single one of them knows their role. Why would you change that? I know we're not great. We're far from great. But at the same time, that is also a midfield issue. It's not just a centre-back issue. That is a midfield issue, not tracking runners, etc., etc. Right? So to pin it all on centre-backs is wrong. And our problem for a long time has been about midfielders not doing the donkey work, which means they get isolated.
Errors leading to a goal this season. I knew I was right. 2.
Who?
Mustafi.
Yeah. Errors leading to a goal for Koscielny. All 3 against Southampton.
Let me have a look.
And that's just in 1 game, God damn it.
What, you telling me all 3 of them goals at Southampton he couldn't have stopped? He was out of position. He fucked up for every single one of them.
With the exception of Southampton and Barty, let's not act like Koscielny's been a disaster this season. And I don't rate Koscielny either. But come on, brother. Let's not act like Koscielny's been a disaster.
Mate, he hasn't been a disaster, but ultimately, none of this backline, other than Rob Holding, Bellerin, and Socrates, are any good. The rest of them are shit. So the fact that we're 1 point off, why change that now and put a kid in that's never played?
Socrates, Bellerin, and Holding are the only 3 I keep.
Exactly. There we go. We agree. I think we should move on.
Flipping heck. But see, I know the people are loving this. They're loving it.
Listen, I'm not saying Mustafi is any good. I just want to clarify that. The geezer's fucking useless, right? But I'd rather have him over a kid who was featured 4 times. That's my point. I can't
argue against that because you haven't formed enough opinion on Mavrapanos
exactly
to be over Mustafi.
And the worst of it would be, right? We put the kid in, right, against Southampton. He gives away a penalty and gets sent off. Then we go on and lose the game. Why did you fucking put him in? Should have kept Mustafi in there. Leave it as it is. Because I tell you what, that kid would be crucified if he costs us a game because of a stupid decision. And that will fucking ruin him.
When Mustafi next fucked up, expect to get abuse.
Yeah, Mustafi fucks up every week. Mustafi fucks up every week. Mustafi's probably muted and blocked 3/4 of our fan base. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, what I'm saying is next season, you go into pre-season.
Imagine Lee's face as soon as Mustafi next fucked up.
No, listen, you go into pre-season next summer, the summer coming, and if Mavrapanos is the future of the club, then that's when you put him in centre-back in pre-season, and then you put him in the first couple of games of next season. You don't throw him in with 12 games to go when he's not played all season.
Unless the rest
there
of
is
the
a
12
massive
games mean
injury.
fuck all.
Yeah, unless the 12 games mean fuck all, exactly. And they don't. We're challenging for fourth.
I hear your logic, but for me, all I hear every time I go on Twitter, on any type of Arsenal,
you know, Twitter's not the be all and end all of our fan base.
I know, it's the devil. I know, but all right, on any type of Arsenal forum is the defense needs to be improved. It needs to do this. It needs to do that. You've got a kid who, fuck it, I'll say it, who I think is pretty decent and has the ability to. Or the potential, all right, let me put it another way. The potential to change and improve something in this defense. Because it needs some type of change. We can't just continue plodding on because Mustafi is Mustafi, which is the point I'm making.
No, I agree. I agree with that. But at the same time, we've put Guendouzi in most of this season, yeah? Right? He's played pretty much fucking 2/3 of the games. That's probably a fair assessment. He's played 2/3 of the games this season. The amount of people, if you go on Twitter, I was up in Manchester when we played Man City the other day. I thought he was our best player. I genuinely thought he was the best player on the pitch for us. On my way back, I'm reading through Twitter. Guendouzi's shit. He's a liability. He don't track runners. He don't do this. Fucking don't listen to Twitter, mate, because it ain't a true reflection of the fan base. Yeah? There's a lot of people online that just want to sit trolling all day over X player, Y player. I see something today where some fucking guy from fucking abroad, some sheikh or prince, Saudi prince or something, wants to suddenly buy Arsenal. That's been fucking set up by some kid who's about 13, who's within his mates on a fucking DM chat with all of his mates going, let's see if we can get this go viral. Yeah, and they fucking have. And people are falling for it. Ignore Twitter, man.
If you notice, I've not retweeted it, but I'll tell you what, secretly I'm hoping. I'm praying.
But that's what I'm saying, Chris. No, but that's what I'm saying, Chris. Right? If you read Twitter, Guendouzi played shit against City. I was there, and every single person that was stood around me said he was the best player for us that day.
Lads, yeah? I've just got a DM from Ryan Fletcher. He's asking a question from both of you. Would you rather play? And shout out to Ryan. Would you rather play, or would you rather have Mustafi or Gabriel Paulista?
Paulista all day long.
What, Paulista or Mavrapanos, did he say?
No, Mustafi.
No, Mustafi.
Oh, what, brother? Of course, Gabriel. Of course. What do you mean?
Don't tell me. It is Ryan that's asking the question.
That's right. My response is to him. My response ain't even close. It's like, of course. Of course. But then again, quite frankly, I'd rather Claude in defence than Mustafi. I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible. So,
one thing to go, he wouldn't be scared to shout at his fucking teammates.
That's what I'm saying. Claude will command that shit in defence. I'll be all right with that.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, okay. So, all right, last thing before we wrap things up here. Now, I've seen it a lot in the chat room. I've seen it a lot in the devil place called Twitter. I've seen it even on Instagram. And that is #Emery out. Now, I kind of know where Lee might go with this, and I'm going to get him to give the last point on this. But Ola, what is your feelings on this Emery out nonsense? You can probably guess what I'm thinking with it.
Bro, I don't understand it. I really don't. We clamored for change for so long. I was at least 2, and I got receipts. at least 2 of Wenger out protests. I was actively trying to get this motherfucker out. I put £5 towards that plane that flew at fucking Stoke. Yeah, £5 of my money went towards that fucking thing there. Yeah, people said it was embarrassing and all that. I couldn't give a fuck. I wanted him out that much, and the point was, if you wanted him out that much, do something about it. And now I've got what I wanted, which was change. Now I have to give the current guy in charge. Look, it could have been Arteta, and I'd feel the same way about it. I just want to give him a chance to succeed. And right now is at a point in the season where you couldn't really judge him on what's gone on so far, because he's at obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. And I mean, in injuries, with the board not backing him, or at least not being able to spend money. Maybe not so much the board not backing him, but not being able to spend money in January. But I think he should have been backed better in the summer. I mean, last summer when he first showed up. So, but we've got him now. He's here for 2 years. We all said, well, I know I said it. I can't speak for everyone, but I know I saw that shit on Twitter going into the season. They were going to give this guy a free pass. And everybody is not changing their tune halfway through the season. Oh, he's shit. Emery out. This it's not good enough. It's not this enough. But they're not giving him the chance to actually show his worth with the full strength and capabilities that's afforded to all the other coaches around him. You look at all the other coaches around him. They've got all the players at their disposal. They've got all the money at their disposal. Maybe not Spurs, but the rest of them, if you look at their net spend or what they put towards the squad, it's way more than Emery has had. And none of them has had injuries like what Emery has had to deal with. So I don't understand all these Emery is garbage. I see some jackass in the fucking, you're entitled to your opinion, but saying Emery is garbage.
But you're like, entitled to the jackass.
Yeah, you're entitled to say it's garbage, but I'm entitled to call you a jackass. Yeah?
Oh, shit.
No, facts. I'm entitled to call you a jackass. Trust me. So when you're saying this guy is garbage, like, how is he garbage? You know what I mean? He's not had a chance to do what he's come to do. Yeah. So give him the chance to do it. Let's see what happens going to look. If he comes fifth, I still don't think it's bad, because we won all them games first half of the season, like I said, all them 22 games and all of that. And they probably changed expectations. People didn't expect that to happen the way it did. But then our players started dropping like flies. And that changed the course of things. It changed our momentum. It hampered us. Some of the key players that we had, that were producing, that were doing things for us, even though we were still conceding goals, we were outscoring teams on a regular basis. And that was the pattern it was going with. But then we started losing players. No manager in the top 6 can lose the amount of players that he's lost for the rest of the season and still be getting what he's getting out of the team as he is. Yeah. I guarantee you that no manager in the top 6 can do that.
Yeah, and I just to quickly give my 2 cents on it before I let Lee wrap us up. For me, I think also that I get what Claude is saying. It's better to just get it over with now and I think a lot of that stems from, and Claude may correct me. I don't want to speak for Claude, but I think that feeling may come from, well, we let the Wenger situation. I said his name, but we let the Wenger situation go on for so long that we failed to kind of deal with it as swiftly as we should have. So I think, and I can see the point, like I think people are just thinking, you know what, we're seeing so much shit that we don't like. Let's just deal with it now rather than waiting until the end of a contract. And then at least we can then move on and look for the right person. To me, I don't want us to go from a club who was too slow to react to a club that's just knee-jerking before something has even had an opportunity to develop. I think people underestimate how much mess that previous manager left us in. And it's going to take a long time to establish. I mean, I see people say we don't have a style of play. I don't expect us to have a style of play. I expect the Emery to come in and almost dismantle the ideologies that has been there for years, decades. And then the style of play is the last thing that comes in. For me, you do that, you figure out who you can and can't rely on. Once you establish that, you need to try and get rid of the people you can't rely on, bring in the players that you can rely on, and then you put the style of play in, the approach, and stuff like that. My only thing with Emery is some of the tactical decisions he's made, I thought, huh? Like, I don't like this idea that every time we have an away game, we automatically go 3 at the back. And every time we have a home game, we go 4 at the back. To me, it's as predictable as what the previous manager did. Barte, there was no reason for us to play 3 at the back. No reason whatsoever. And those type of tactical decisions are things that I can't understand. You know, I must admit, the one point that I did think DT did have a decent point on, and even I have to accept this, was, to me, I'm confused that Mesut Ozil isn't good enough to be in the 18. I don't think he's good enough to start, and not at the moment, but not in the 18 for all games. That confuses me. So that to me must be something that we are not a party to, which is why I'm not yet all the way committing myself in terms of where I stand with that. But surely he should be in the 18 for some games, just so that at least you have explored every avenue and every possibility. And I think those type of things will make at least some of the fans quite disgruntled. But having said all that, I get people's frustration with Emery. To me, I've always said it's a 3-year project, but given the fact that he only has a 2-year contract, my gosh, surely you ain't calling for his head at least before the end of next season. Let's see what the guy has with his own players. And yeah, all right, I grant you, he's brought in 6 of his players now, if you include Suarez. But let's see what he has when he has his actual squad. When he knows what he's getting from those squad, he's got rid of the people he doesn't want. And then if he's still not producing, then cool. All right, you're still Emery out. I can't argue against it. But to me, I think it's way too early after so long wanting change that the minute something isn't going the way we want it to go, we're like, nah, cut off the head. After 7-8 months, I'm not doing that. So I'm still Emery in. But I get it, but I'm Emery in. So what about you? What about you, Lee? What do you think?
I'm going to have to make this quick because I'm on 12%. But
Sorry, brother, go on.
That's all right. But listen, the way I see it, the first couple of games of the season, there was a buzz around the stadium. There was like it was just a buzz. Everyone was like, okay, cool, his substitutions are working. Every game, he was making the right substitutions. We went on a mad 22 unbeaten run. And everything was looking good. We're singing "We Got Our Arsenal Back" and all that at Fulham away. And yeah, everything was rosy. And then the odd few results went the other way. Then the fans want to sit there. And like I've said a million times on here, Arsenal fans are the most reactionary fan base in world football. That's a
100%.
fact, right? So Lacazette gets substituted a couple of times. Fans are booing. Fans are booing that. Booing that substitution. How many times has Lacazette been subbed since the second time he got booed off? Or not him booed off, but Emery's substitution, right? I don't think he has been substituted. I might be wrong, right? But he got, the second time. I can't remember who was the second game. I think it was against Cardiff. I think it was Cardiff. He got substituted in that game and fans were booing. No, it might have been Chelsea, actually. It might have been Chelsea. Yeah, we booed people were booing Lacazette going off and cheering Giroud coming on. That sums up this fan base. This is the same fan base that say Ozil would have broken an assist record and we would have won the league against Leicester, but Giroud was spunking chances. The same Giroud you're all singing to run on the pitch and try and score against us, yeah? You know what I'm saying? Right? So I think that the manager has probably started to doubt his own ability and start doubting his substitutions a little bit, his starting 11s a little bit, because he's thinking, right, I've been here 6 months and the fans are booing my substitutions. Do you know what I'm saying? That's fucking muggy. It's muggy, mate. Yeah. Right? You don't boo a substitution after 6 months of your manager being here. I don't care who he is, right? You don't do it, right? Now, yeah, we're not doing great at the minute. Yeah, we're not outplaying teams at the minute, but how many games have we outplayed teams this season? We got outplayed by Everton, Watford, not Newcastle, West Ham, all at the Emirates. We were getting outplayed every week at the Emirates, but we found a way. And that was because every single fan in the ground was on point, behind the team, behind the manager. We knew even if we conceded and they got it back to 1-1 or 1-0 up, whatever. Yeah, it's all right. We're Arsenal. We're going to fucking come back and do them. That has gone from the stadium. Yeah, that has gone. And it's now turned into, oh, well, we know what's coming. And we know what's coming because the fans have turned so quickly. And is it any coincidence? Is it any coincidence that the large majority of the people that have turned so quickly are all for the previous manager? And is it any coincidence that people are turning on him because the previous manager's fucking poster boy is not being picked? Yeah, and this is what I'm saying about reactionary. I really hope we get top 4, so all the boo boys and all the previous managers, like adorers that are booing this guy and wanting this guy gone, and the poster boys fans that back him over the club, I really hope we get top 4 and it shuts every single fucking one of them up.
Just going to say that Claude is not in that category.
No. Claude, listen, Claude never wanted Emery from day one, mate. I can tell you
that's what I'm saying. He's not in that category. So just clear that up.
And Claude's my mate. Yeah, I love that guy to bits. Right, whether you like him or hate him, I don't care. I like
Claude's
him.
a G, man.
And he didn't want him from day one, right? And he said that. So fair play to him. He's held his hands up and he said that from day one. But for me, I've always thought that we've been left a fucking shambles. We've been left a player that couldn't give a fuck whether he plays football or not. He's just happy to collect the wage. I think we've been left a fan base that are reactionary, feeble in terms of the way their brain works at times. And it's revert back to type. Oh, well, the previous manager did that. He's not doing that. He picked him. He's not picking him. Let's boo him. Let's sing for Giroud to run on the pitch and try and score against us, but then boo Alexis Sanchez the following week. What fucking planet, right?
Completely agree.
The way I see it is, we back it. We get back to what we were doing as fans at the start of the season, and we give them that push to get over the line and get fourth, right? Then next season, at this point next season, after he's had 2 more windows, if we are still 5th, after being knocked out of Champions League, for example, if we qualified, then we go, do you know what? This might not be the right manager. But I ain't judging this guy until next season, until the end of next season, because then he's got rid of all the fucking shit, weak mentality. I mean, Koscielny, this guy is a fucking captain, right? And I get why he gave him the captain's armband, because he was an injured player and he was one of our longest serving players, yeah? So it was, here you go, he didn't want to rock the boat, yeah? But this guy has openly admitted his kids make him cry because he goes home every week when we lost under the previous manager. My kid bullies me. This is our fucking leader. This is what a shambles we've been left. And if people think that overnight this guy is going to come in and change the fucking weak mentality of majority of that squad, they're in cuckoo land. They're in cuckoo land, mate. So we go again next summer. And this summer coming, we go again and we fucking go next season and see what the manager can do with his team. But for now, I ain't giving up on him and I still think we can get fourth. The last thing I'm going to say is at the start of the season, I said it on here and on AFTV, is if we finish 5th and less than 37 points behind Man City or the winners of the title, and we get more than 1 away win in a calendar year, that is an improvement. We've already got more away wins. Yeah, We've already got more away wins, and there's no way we're finishing 37 points behind the leader. So there's 2. Now all we've got to do is not finish 6th. And for me, that's an improvement because that is how far we have fallen.
Yeah, you have always said it, and I'll leave it as that. Thank you so much to the 250 plus that have been watching us all throughout, even through our arguing and all that shit.
That was a good one, man.
It's a fun show. I really like this one.
Nice one, man.
But thank you so much. Hit the subscribe button. This is what we do. We just kick it, talk shit. No agendas. No one's getting paid. We're all just chilling and relax. I ain't gonna lie. If they were getting paid, I'd be bad.
Right, maybe I should start charging for this, man.
Yeah, man. You know I'm all about my Skrilla blood. You know
what I'm saying? Ola's been out. Ola's doing double time right now. Double shift.
I know. I ain't got nothing for you. I ain't got nothing but I'll be real. But Ola, let the people know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, but you can find me on Twitter, Black Scorpion Free. Same handle as that on Instagram. Add me on there. We'll talk about combat sport, football. Yeah, that's basically what we do. Don't do politics. Don't talk to me about Brexit. Not interested.
And M Mac. No, he doesn't live in Penge. Ola does not live in Penge. I don't know where that. I don't know where that question came from. But yeah.
No, maybe he was trying to say Ola is Peng.
Yeah, if he's trying to say that, yeah, man. Yeah. Shout out to you if that's what you're trying to say. But I don't do no homo though. No homo though. But no homo, yeah, no homo. Yeah, man. I'm with you.
And Lee, let the people know where they can find you, brother.
Lee Gunner 82 on Insta and Twitter. And big up everyone who's subscribed to my YouTube channel, especially the ones that have found it from Chig Show. I'm looking at it as we speak, and I'm over 7,000 subscribers.
So there you go.
Big up everybody. And do you know what? It's the 3-month anniversary of this channel on Thursday coming. So that is fucking epic numbers. So big up everyone who's watched, liked, shared, subscribed, hated, loved, everything. So thank you. So you can find me.
Well done, brother. You deserve it, man. Well done.
Thanks, lads. Thank you.
To be fair, it may have come from the result of your amazing debate. And listen, as much as I can't stand the way he came at me, it was a good debate. It was a really enjoyable.
Listen, the one thing I'm going to say, because I'm going to have to shoot in a sec, my battery's nearly dead, yeah? It was a wicked debate. Listen, we're all entitled to an opinion, yeah? Whether you agree or disagree, or whether you think I won or he won, right? Everyone's entitled to an opinion. The one thing I'll say is, if you want to fucking debate with me, you better bring your fucking dinner.
Hey, game, yeah. This motherfucker will argue for days.
And
by the way, if you think it's a show thing, me and Lee argue like this on WhatsApp.
This is constant every day. This
Ola knows I'm in a group chat, with Ola as well, right? Ola knows what I'm like.
Lee, if I want someone to represent me, if I murdered somebody,
I'd
hire Lee. He could sell fucking snow to fucking.
But for nothing else,
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
He'll just annoy you into submission. He'll be like, oh, for fuck's sake, all right, whatever, cool. Yeah, and you could also follow.
Sorry, you got to admit though, right? If I say a point, I do tend to back it with logic rather than just throwing something out there.
You do. You don't get emotional with it, and that's why I thought you won, because you didn't get worked up or anything. You kind of just said, well, this, and this, and this. So
facts.
What are you talking about?
Speak louder than anything else. You can't argue with facts. But there we go, man. Thanks for having me on again, Chig. And it was wicked to enjoy it with Ola as well.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
That was a good show, man. When we get together.
And everyone else who watched as well, all 250 that were live as well. So a nice one on a Sunday evening.
Thank you, guys. And I can still see that there's at least 200 people still watching. So crush that like button for me. You can also subscribe to the channel. I am edging ever closer to 3,600. So thank you to everybody that has subscribed very recently and still continues to do so. Thank you to all the people that have given donations tonight, from Zamir to Brent D, who Unique gave me a donation just because he supports Lee in everything he does. So I don't know. I think that donation is more for you.
Yeah, I'll take that off you when I see you, Chig. Yeah?
I'll buy you a pint or something. Let her do that.
Man. Listen, anyone who makes a donation to the channel, fair play to them, mate, because they don't have to, and they've done that off their own goodwill. So they'll get good karma, man.
There you go. So
I want Nando's of them fucking donations, you know, blood. I'm looking for some Nando's.
I think Chig should take us out for dinner.
You know what I mean? We need to link up at Nando's or something.
So it's funny I should say that. It's funny you should say that. So I keep promising the people that we'll do some sort of Q&A for my Patreon. Why don't I just fucking take us somewhere like a bar or a pub or somewhere? We just all kick it, camera in the corner, and we just go at it. And you'll see us in our natural environment. I know you guys are quite close, so I might have to come up to you.
Yeah, you'll have to come to us, blood. You spend some of that money.
Yeah, now he's getting paid and all that. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I
mean? So there you go. So we'll get that sorted. And you can follow me on Twitter at Colossal Chig. You can follow me on Instagram at Gooner_Eagle_I1. You can follow me on Patreon, Gooner_Eagle_I. $5 a month gets you to all my videos, which I'm continuing to put out on there. All the links for everybody's thing that they've mentioned is in the description right now. So go check that out. And also give Lee's channel a subscribe. Lee Gunner. Literally all you have to find. And it'll pop up. That's pretty much it. So we're out of here, people. Thank you so much for sticking with us. I'm going to leave you to your Sunday evenings. Enjoy.
Mustafi in. No, only joking.
Salute.
Emery in. Wow.
Okay, now, Lee got through a bomb.